again. So now we're going to do the value creation part. So the first part of your final project we're going to work on together is the target market and finding out who are your competitors. Target market في العربي مين السوق أو الجمهور المستهدف. مين الجمهور المستهدف راح يستخدموا منتجاتكم. Who is the person or the people, group of people with shared characteristics in general, they're going to actually use your product or care about your product. And also, who are your competitors? So, مين المتنافسين. So, first we're going to learn about target market, then competitive analysis. If we look at a general definition first, we can say that a target market is just a specific portion of the population that someone in marketing or an entrepreneur is going to identify as the most likely people to purchase your idea, or not your idea, your product or your service. So the target market, you guys, is the bigger picture. The target market is saying who would buy this product. Whereas we have something also called a target audience. A target audience is a little more specific. It's like a subcategory. I'm gonna give you an example. So first, this is an analogy. Let's say like a target market, like a forest, a huge forest, whereas a target audience are like the different types of trees. Okay, so what do we mean here? Apple, for example. The target market of Apple could be described as affluent, design-conscious consumers who value premium quality, innovation, and seamless technology over price. Because we all know that Apple is a little more pricey, but they value high technology. However, we want to know, who does Apple actually focus on selling to? If you've seen any of their marketing ads, Apple focuses on people, for example, who... has anyone seen an Apple marketing ad? And what do they usually focus on?
Improve the new product.
Yes, how the new product is improved, right? Like iPhone 14, 15, 16. Sorry? Yes. Yes, so showing the people, for example, like we have the best camera technology. Who are they targeting, do you think, if they're focusing on cameras? Photographers, right? Photographers, content creators, bloggers, people who need camera, good camera. Also, for example, they could target young professionals, people who, because they have an education discount, they focus on like people who need productivity. Like our computer has the best memory to, in the computer that can handle all of your tasks. Or creative professionals, students and educators, parents and family, because there's actually family controls on the iPad, for example.
Family care like that.
Family care. Also tech, people who are just interested in tech to adopt new technology. Again, content creators, all these people. Let's look at Karim. Karim, for example, we can say the target market, urban residents, yani people in the city, in the Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia who seek convenient, reliable, and affordable on-demand services for transportation and everyday needs. So, again, the target market, it's nice, but we need to understand who does Karim really target. This is the general target market, but who are they pointing at specifically to target with their services? People who need daily transportation. You have a idea?
Daily transformation.
Transportation, yes.
Transportation and helping people who I don't have a car like that. So
Mm-hmm.
with this app, make your life is easy. So
Yes.
you can go anywhere you can to go. So they focus on this people.
Exactly.
Sometimes you should to have a car or something. You can book it from phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why focus Karim.
Thank you. Yes, so portability. It's very easy in people who don't have a car. Families. Sometimes, for example, you guys, Karim has a woman-only driving option. It comes in a pink cab. Have you ever seen it before? A pink taxi. It's actually just for a woman to feel safer. Or we have, there's small taxi and large bunba for family. For tourists. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So you guys, expats and tourists, international visitors, for example, because you don't need to have knowledge of the route or anything, right? Because travelers are coming here as tourists. So they need people to take them around, and it's easy. It's multi-language, local payment methods, they don't need to know, or they don't need to know routes, they just depend on this service, right? Grocery shoppers. How many of you have seen like the people Insta shop, right, inside aswaq. Or this is, for example, for Kareem, they also target people who are grocery shoppers with less time because they can get their stuff delivered instead of physically going to the grocery store. All of these are specific things Kareem is looking at, especially in their marketing. If you look at their marketing ads, for example, you'll see that it emphasizes how quick Kareem is, or how convenient Kareem is, right? They're trying to focus on certain groups of people. These are target audiences. And this is all part of a larger target market. The last one, talabat. Talabat, for example, what's the target market? Urban residents, again living in the city in the Middle East, seeking convenient, reliable food and grocery delivery for daily dining and household needs. طيب, but who do you think talabat really focuses on sometimes, like as a target يرحمك الله, as a target audience? Yes. يوصلون بسرعة. Yes, exactly. So people who need quick food, right? So busy, tight schedules. Yeah.
They focus on all of kind of people. And who want something you can't order.
Yes. So you mean like different culture?
Yeah, different culture, different.
Yeah. So this is also
Popular.
yes, it's popular because it gives you a wide range of options.
Yeah.
Cultural food.
You can order medicine, food.
Yes.
Anything you want, you can order.
Yes, I see what you mean. You can order anything, right? So it meets the needs of different people, grocery shoppers, people who need medicine, all of these people, you guys, are characterized by why would they rather use talabat versus actually physically going? The whole idea would probably be that, if we're looking at this, is that the target audience are people with limited schedules, right? They have like very busy schedules, limited time, or constraints in moving. I don't know, maybe the traffic in Dubai, people who avoid traffic, people who are avoiding, who have busy schedules. There must be a reason they're using the service rather than physically going and doing it, right?
So we don't have cars.
People who don't have cars, right? So all these people are what talabat is focusing on. When we get to the marketing section in a couple of weeks, we're going to watch many ads, maybe talabat, Kareem, Apple. We'll watch all these ads and we're going to analyze them and see what type of message the company is trying to give to people, because every company, they have a target market and a target audiences. They're trying to target specific people based off of what they love and what they need, right? So this is how they're trying to communicate value. So this is the idea of a target market being the larger and the target audience being more specific. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions so far? No? Okay. So what happens how do we write a target market? Like, how do we write an actual statement about who our target market is? We usually include these things. So the first is demographics. You guys, demographics is like your age, female or male. Where do you live? These things, like when you go to a hospital, what's your birth of date? These things that are facts about you, we call them demographics. So these things are usually included. For example, maybe your product is targeting people between certain ages, or it's targeting high schoolers, right? So you want to specify. Psychographics. You guys, this one is interesting. So the difference between psychographic and demographic. Psychographic, it's like, think of psychology, psycho. Psychographic means, obviously not psycho, right? But psychographic meaning that personality, lifestyle, interests, attitudes, beliefs, and values, all these different things. It's like your hobbies, like what you care about, what you value. This is an example. So demographic could, again, be like female, 33 years old, married. She's a medical professional, lives in San Francisco, and earns this much money per year. These are facts. These are like demographic. Whereas psychographic is like, what do you value? What do you like? What's your hobby? She likes to bike to work. She loves space. She loves cats. She's good at saving money. She enjoys vinyl music, and she values family bonds. What do you value as a person? Because all of these things affect, you guys, why people are buying products, right? So it's not just because of your demographics. It's very highly influenced by what you value and care about, right? This is what's driving many people to choose certain brands. So we usually include also consumer behavior. There is a reason people are buying a product over another product, or like the same product. There's a reason one person's buying it from one company versus another company. It depends, and this is also the study of consumer behaviorism. Like why do people do that? This is a whole study by itself in marketing. Why do people actually, buy this versus this? It could be psychological reasoning, their values. There's many things, right? So we look at this, and then the last thing are pain points. Pain points means the problems the person is experiencing that your product is supposed to solve. So you're supposed to target people, obviously, who need your product because they need it to be able to solve their problem. How do I identify a target market? So you should look at what your product offers, decide who will gain the most value out of your product, and then that's how you will decide. You need to see who's the most vulnerable group that really needs your product. So this will help you identify what type of people actually value what you're creating. But of course, this has to do with, it's not just theoretical. You also would need to do testing your product with people. You need to have a target market in mind and start testing it with people, right? So this is how when we go back to design thinking from the previous, right? You need to test with people, see how it works, their needs. So, so far, does it make sense how to create a target market statement? So we would start with, you just need to describe who is the person you're targeting, right? So for example, but you want to be a little specific. For example, someone give me your product topic or your final project topic. Can someone give me their final project topic to give an example? مثلا yours is about firefighting or emergency situations.
Yeah, we are emergency situation.
So what is the product about?
It's the use of the AI.
So it's an AI system that manages emergencies. Okay, perfect. So your target market, you could look into whose needs this, right? Are you using it to help people or the firefighters themselves? The firefighters themselves or the people?
It can be both.
It can be both. So then you could have two different we could say you can have a target market of people affected by by emergencies, and then the target audience, it really could be the people affected by them, and then you would describe like in what situations, and then also the people helping in the situation, right? So this is how you could frame it, in that the target market are, first you would want to include also which country, right? Or so you guys, the place highly affects obviously the target market, right? So if you're targeting in a certain country, this comes with values, beliefs, systems. This is how why it's important to understand the target market. Are you trying to run globally? It's better usually to start off solving a problem at a smaller scale, focusing on something smaller like a community or a certain country, and then growing it, right? So this is an example. Does the target market make sense? Okay. So when you write it in your final, you can write it either way. You can write it, for example, demographic, psychographic, and list them as bullet points, or you can just write like 3 sentences, like we target these types of people who enjoy this or who have the hobby of this, right? So okay. So you guys, now let's go to the last part, competitive analysis. Okay, so I have here Masafi in My Dubai on the screen. Why do you think I have it there? Okay, someone tell me, why do you think someone would buy Masafi versus My Dubai? ما يدبي غير. ليش غير؟ نعم. اوكي بس مسافي كمان مسافي في الفجيرة. طيب but it's still the UAE, right? But like why would someone buy? Well, that could be a reason they support Dubai. But you know, that may be one reason, but culture? But the same. What do you mean by culture? Dubai. طيب بس Masafi is sold in Dubai too.
Too much far. 1 hour driving. Dubai here.
Dubai. Okay. But what's another reason someone ممكن يشتري, someone might buy Masafi versus My Dubai, for example? Let's say someone bought Masafi versus My Dubai. What are the reasons you think someone might do that?
Because
There's the look of it. Okay, that's true. Maybe people like aesthetic water, right? Price? Which one is cheaper? Masafi is cheaper? I thought My Dubai was cheaper. My Dubai is cheaper. Okay, what about you guys? You guys, what about Masafi low sodium versus My Dubai? Why might someone buy that?
all water. But you should support which brand you like.
All the time my Dubai.
Okay, so I like your example. Why is someone supporting a certain brand? This is what I'm trying to get to.
About supporting a certain type of brand, there's actually research about waters in the UAE, by the way, and there's a huge list that states all the brands, and within them are My Dubai, Masafi, Nestle, and all of these. And
Mhm.
they actually made a study, and they
Wow.
showed that most of the waters that we buy locally actually have something in them that still makes you dehydrated and thirsty.
Ah,
so
okay.
you need to go and buy more water.
That's so
And
interesting.
Masafi and My Dubai was one of the waters as well. The only locally sourced water that we have that actually makes you
Hydration?
were two, Al Ain and Nestle. These are the only two ones that actually keep you hydrated.
That's so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing this. So, Masafi, you guys, like, sometimes there's different reason, but because you're an informed consumer, right? So that's a difference. When we're talking about like, there's many people informed consumers. Maybe some people want to buy Masafi eco-friendly bottle. You guys, there's an eco-friendly Masafi bottle that it's green because it's showing the plastic is like recyclable. And so people might care about that, so they buy that. Some people buy low sodium water from Masafi, maybe because My Dubai doesn't have a low sodium option and they have high sodium.
Now have zero.
Maybe zero sodium. Maybe they have health problems. Maybe they have a reason to buy low sodium. Because in here, we all know that the water is desalinized, right? In the GCC region, it's desalinized because it's salt water. So this has to do with also like people's preferences and needs. Why would someone buy? You guys, I want to hear from someone I haven't heard yet. Why would someone buy maybe Evian versus Masafi?
Because apparently Evian comes from the French Alps mountains, so that
Mhm.
makes you feel like the water is fresh.
Yes.
Or sometimes
So status kind of.
status.
Yeah.
Same with Masafi. When you
Mhm.
see the difference between Masafi and My Dubai, My Dubai does not state where the water comes from, but apparently Masafi, because of the brand, the name,
Mhm.
it's known that it's actually coming from Masafi.
Yeah.
So that's why people, for example, would choose, for example, Masafi over My Dubai because they're known where the water is coming from.
Ah, I see. Exact. That's a very good analysis because Masafi, we know actually, like you can visit Masafi. You can visit. I believe it's in Fujairah, right? So you can visit Masafi. You can see where the water is coming from. My Dubai, it's not very clear. Their process is not very clear. It's like not. It probably you would know where if you searched, but it's not very publicly, emphasized like Masafi. Because Masafi, I mean, as a consumer, for example, me, I would see Masafi more as like a local, fresh brand. Whereas when I see My Dubai, I've never heard where it truly is sourced, right? So that makes a difference. What you know as a consumer makes a difference. Yes?
Have some difference between the taste between My Dubai and Evian.
Okay, so for example, the taste. Thank you. Yeah. So Evian maybe for some people tastes better than My Dubai. Okay, so you guys, what I'm getting here at, all of your ideas are really great. Great job. So all of these ideas are that people are buying certain things because of how they care about a brand. What is the reason behind it?
But for sure, if you put the Masafi bottle, the one that you have,
Mhm.
instead of the one that's on the screen,
Yeah.
everyone, not everyone, but most people know that water bottles that are green colored are known to have electrolytes, which make you more hydrated.
Ah, okay, electrolyte. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. I didn't notice my own water bottle.
Yeah, all
Mine.
the green, even My Dubai has it, by the way. Masafi has it, Align has it.
Ah.
When it comes to the green, it has electrolytes because you don't only get hydrated by drinking water, it has to have
Electrolytes.
So that's if you, for example, put it on the board, it would be like you would choose Masafi over
My Dubai. Yeah.
because it is a better alternative because it has electrolytes.
Perfect. This is very great. So exactly, I never noticed that it's like that. Speaking of that, I'm gonna drink water. Okay, you guys. So what I'm trying to get to is that we have different types of competitors, and we're almost done. Just hang in there, and then you're going to be able to work on your final project in this section. We have two types of competitors. نحن عنا متنافسين نوعين، المتنافسين المباشر والمتنافسين الغير مباشر. We have indirect competitors and direct competitors. I want to please explain the difference. So direct competitors are those with the same products for the same market, while indirect, they are different products, but they still meet the need of the person. Okay, I give you example. Direct competitors, for example, let's take Talabat and Uber Eats. Okay, Talabat and Uber Eats, they do the same thing practically, right? So these can be direct competitors because they're offering the same exact service. And so they're targeting the same type of people. And in that, they're just competing. It depends on what people prefer. Maybe the pricing, maybe the discounts, you know, all these different things. 1 minute. And then there's an indirect competitor is about, you know, منافس غير مباشر. غير مباشر means that it still meets the need of the person, it still meets the need of the user, but it's not the same product. But so you guys, I want you to keep in mind, if someone wants to use your product, let's say you're creating a new product, you need to think of what is the user using if they're not using me right now, right? Like if they're not using your idea, your company, your product, then what are they doing to solve their problem? This is still a competitor, even if it's not the same solution as you. For example, I could have the Kareem app, right? A Kareem app could be help me get to where I want to go. But if I'm using the metro, I'm not using Kareem. If I'm using rent a car, I'm not using Kareem. If I'm using my own car, I'm still not using Kareem, right? So that money is away from Kareem, right? So these are considered indirect competitors. They still compete with you because they can replace you through meeting the user's needs. Whereas a direct competitor, it's the same product, the same idea, or very similar, and competing against the same. Whereas indirect, it still meets the user's needs, but it's not the same product, right? A metro is not the same as Kareem. Renting a car, I mean, you could rent a car through Kareem, but let's say we're talking about them separately. Rent a car companies who are not on Kareem, they compete against Kareem because they give you a car, you don't need Kareem, right? So these people are indirect. Every single product has a competitor. Even if you say, I don't have, it's not true. There's always a competitor. If you can't find very direct competitors, then there are always indirect competitors. So you always have to look at why are you different. This goes into now our activity where you're going to look for the competitor analysis. I'm going to first show you, then I'll take questions after, okay? So I'm going to show you first how to do this. Using AI, we're going to first use Perplexity to accelerate how you can find competitors. But then again, you need to keep in mind that we're doing this to accelerate the beginning. But when you need to go into analysis, the AI is not going to be able to directly pull because you, of course, as a human are analyzing much better, right? So what you're going to do is, I'm going to show you, we're going to go to perplexity.ai. And then what you're going to do is, you're going to type what your product for the final project is. For example, I am creating a food delivery app. Let's give an example. I'm creating a food delivery app that delivers food fast and emphasizes healthy and local options from the UAE. Okay? I want to know who are my top direct competitors and indirect competitors, where they are located, their pricing, and product offerings. So you guys, again, when we do this, it will give you a table, but you need to double check everything, right? You can't just take it because it might not be accurate. So also you want to say, please link the websites to the competitors too, so I can check them. Because you want to make sure it's real, number one. And then two, you want to go inside the websites and search about them. So what happens when we do this? We can press enter on Perplexity. So instead of this way, I want it in a table. So we forgot to tell it that. Okay, it gave me. So competitor, طلبات, Deliveroo, Kareem Food, Noon Food. I didn't even know there's Noon Food. Easy. So these ones are talking about, again, the pricing is probably not set because I'm talking about delivery app, right? Unless sometimes you guys, you want to look also in the tafasil, you want to look in the detail. For example, like if I open Kareem app or Talabat, I can actually still pay a subscription, I believe, for more rewards or something like this, right? So sometimes even there are like, certain pricing just to become like a higher tier or like a different, you know what I mean? Like you can pay for, even if the app is free, you can still pay for a different type of benefits, right? We call this a freemium model. Freemium means free and premium. You have a free app, and then if you want to upgrade stuff, you go premium. It's called freemium. That's what happens with most apps you download. It's free. No, now pay, this much a month because to continue using, right? It's called freemium. So, naam, yeah, exactly. Most AI tools. But there are open source AI tools that compete against them because they're free, right? So that's also a competitive strategy. Open source is a competitive strategy. Okay, so you guys, this is what we're gonna do. Then what you need to do is, as a group, you're gonna need 3 direct, and I want you to put 1 indirect, like 1, or you can put them all here. For example, like you can write all of them in one box. Okay, so this is inside of your template. There's a section. I'm gonna show you now. Of course, you're not gonna just copy paste this. The reason being, it's probably not correct. Even if the product description is correct, you probably need still more detail, right? So what I would do is first choose the ones you wanna focus on, the most impactful ones you think are good to study. Then you're gonna go into the websites it gave you and actually check about them. See how they compare to your actual business idea, so that you can see the gaps. And then you're going to talk about the strengths and the weaknesses. I gave an example here. So I gave another example. Let's say I'm creating an app that delivers food, gives you car rides, and does much more. Kareem, for example, the strength could be that it provides more than 10,000 plus cities to that many. Weaknesses, for example, it usually doesn't allow you cash, for example, from the beginning. You would have to just get a regular taxi to pay cash, but before you would need your credit card or pay attached to the app. Uber is less global presence. Sometimes that we all know the strength, right? Provides many services, allows you to get taxi, but sometimes it's banned, right? Like in Turkey, for example, there are restrictions on Uber, as I believe still now, but there's many, Uber might not be available everywhere. There could be restrictions. Dubai Metro, quick transportation, it's affordable, but the weakness is that it doesn't travel everywhere. You can't go to Abu Dhabi in a metro, right? For example, you would have to take many different transportations. So this is the example. I want you guys to do that, and then let me go to the template and show you where you will write them. As a group, if you go to here, you're gonna see the competitor analysis section. You press it, it'll take you to the table to start filling out with your group, with your team. And then also before it, we have the page called Target Market. Our customers. You will write here. You can write it here. Again, you'll delete the info and start writing. Okay? Any questions? I think I cut you